let's have a little peep at what they had to say the other day. Hope you're all well. Shout out to everybody that's around, kicking around for this. Very much worth listening to.
So we're going to jump into DMCA. We're going to spend the next 30 minutes discussing new information about DMCA with the community, which means that we're not going to be providing an overview of copyright law or a refresher on Twitch's DMCA guidelines. With that said, it is still super important that you understand both and how those may affect your channel on Twitch and anywhere else that you publish your content. If you have questions about copyright law or DMCA, please check out all of the recent materials we've published. There is a blog on blog.twitch.tv. We have creator camp sessions, twitch.tv/creatorcamp, and information available on help.twitch.tv. I also wanted to just take a quick second to reiterate that you should not play recorded music on your stream unless you own all of the rights in the music or you have permission from the necessary rights holder. So all of the disclaimers, we're ready to jump into DMCA. Let's bring in Jeremy Forrester, head of creator products at Twitch, who's here to help us talk about the tools his team is building to provide additional insurances to help you avoid copyright infringement claims on the content that you stream and share on Twitch. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thanks, Erin. Glad to be here.
Yeah, Jeremy, you're in the hot seat now. So let's just kick it right off with admitting that as a streamer, understanding your channel's current risk and standing under DMCA guidelines is at best incredibly complicated. And the tools that Twitch has to help creators in these areas are not good enough. Specifically, I personally understand why in absence of other solutions, but why we said this, but it was still really hard to watch Twitch tell creators that their primary defense against DMCA was just to delete all of their VODs and clips. When they deleted their content and we watched them delete their content, it was literal years of hard work and all of the memories that they've built with their communities just gone. And it felt really awful. It did not feel good.
Yeah, you're right. I'm part of a number of communities on Twitch, and I saw firsthand just how devastating it was to lose all of that content on the community and streamers. It's not a recommendation we would have made if there was an option that made more sense in those circumstances. What I can tell you, though, is that we've doubled down on our efforts to help you better navigate copyrights and content on your channel. And our product roadmap prioritizes features that improve the creator experience in the following areas. So 1, music on your channel and streaming with music. And 2, managing content on your channel. And number 3, how you track copyright claims on the platform. I also wanted to mention that although our strategy follows a multi-pronged approach, each update on its own will make the experience a little bit better for creators. We won't wait until all of the updates in each area are complete before we're shipping them to you. As soon as an update is ready, we'll make it available to the community.
Yeah, I think it's really important, and I'm glad to know, I'm sure the community is glad to know that this is a big priority for your team, not just now, but also carrying throughout the year as we implement new and future products. So I think everyone's eager to learn, like, what does that mean? So let's start at the top with music and then work our way through that list. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that works for me.
Cool. So starting with music, earlier this year, Twitch released Soundtrack, a tool that gives creators access to music that's already licensed to stream on Twitch, so that as a streamer, you can play music during your live broadcast without it violating copyright. We also published educational materials for creators on Creator Camp and on the Help Center, as we mentioned before. But is there anything else that helps creators stream with confidence, knowing that the content that they stream isn't violating a copyright or at risk of a DMCA takedown notification?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, a really great component of Soundtrack is the multi-track audio technology that we built. The music from Soundtrack doesn't transfer over to the clips and VODs, so you can share, the music-free version of your content wherever you want. We heard this technology is useful for streamers who independently license music on their live streams and not their recorded content. So we've been integrating the technology into other streaming applications so it can be accessible to more creators. Just this past Monday, it was included in OBS 26.1, which was released, and in Q2 it'll be integrated into Twitch Studio, and we're looking forward to more of these integrations.
And to be clear, that is not to help streamers circumvent securing rights for copyrighted material. So those are there to help you. You should still only use content that you have rights to stream. They're just there to help you as added insurances to ensure that if anything accidentally slips through, that you're covered. So that reminds me, on that case, when we're talking about Twitch tools, we do have an upcoming Creator Camp session that's live on twitch.tv/Creator Camp on December 22nd. The title of that stream is Copyrights and Managing Your Content, which includes more information about the tools specifically that Twitch offers for you to help manage your content. We have one question. Are you ready for it? It's one we get on Twitter all the time. Yep. That question is, and I know everyone's going to be like, yes, answer the question. Can Twitch pay for site-wide licensing like other sites?
Yeah, so we do pay organizations around the world like ASCAP and BMI in the US, JazzRack in Japan, and SACEM in France for public performance licenses. These licenses allow creators to perform music live to their communities. This is similar to a live performance you would see in an IRL club or at music venues. But most of what happens on Twitch is ephemeral. And our service was built to enable connections through live shared experiences. And this differentiates us a lot from other video online sites who focus on video on demand. These services have agreements that reflect their primary on-demand nature. On-demand videos are more likely to be considered a substitute for listening to music on a streaming service like Spotify, and it comes with commensurate cost.
Come on! Still unbeaten, Super Sunday roll.
What can you say about that? Definitely not subscribed to them, as you can imagine.
Where's the fridge? Win a gaming night with Fnatic or a Fnatic React headset. Refreshing Bud Light. Available in all major supermarkets now.
Come on.
Not tonight. Have Pilates class later.
Twitch, by contrast, offers a predominantly live, interactive, and unpredictable experience, which is fundamentally distinct from on-demand and implicates different rights. So while we're open to partnering with labels, and our agreements have to reflect the different usage in the underlying rights landscape to reach a fair rate for both Twitch and creators. That said, we are actively speaking to major record labels about potential additional agreements that will be appropriate for the Twitch service. We're approaching these conversations thoughtfully and in consideration of our creator community, because we know that the constructs for label agreements with other services often use revenue earned by the creators to pay the record labels. The thing is, the vast majority of our creators aren't adding recorded music to their streams. And if a creator does have the music in their stream, is it okay for the label to get all of the revenue earned during an 8-hour-long stream when it only included 30 seconds of music? These are the types of questions we're thinking about because they can have a substantial impact on what it means to stream on Twitch. So we hear you, and we're open-minded to new structures that could work for Twitch's unique service, but we also want to ensure we're not compromising your long-term economics as a result. These agreements may take some time to materialize and may never happen at all if we can't reach an agreement that works for everyone. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and it will come with costs and trade-offs.
Yeah, it's definitely an incredibly complicated and nuanced thing to work through. So I'm really glad to hear that we are working on it and we are having those conversations. There's another question that we got on Twitter, this one also about licensing, but specifically as it relates to soundtrack. And they asked, if music and soundtrack is licensed for streaming on Twitch, why is my VOD muted?
Yeah, this is a common question. So if some of your VOD was muted, then you likely don't have soundtrack configured correctly. Soundtrack was built to provide music for your live stream only, not for VODs and clips. And to do this, soundtrack streaming software captures the outputting sound from your application as separate tracks, removes the music from soundtrack, and then sends the remaining audio to your VODs and clips. So if it is coming from your VODs and clips, then it's probably misconfigured. If soundtrack isn't configured incorrectly, or if your soundtrack isn't configured correctly, music may be included in those VODs and clips, and those sections could then be muted or deleted by Audible Magic, which is our system that we use to detect music in your content. Streamers have a unique setups, so it's difficult for me to give you specific configuration instructions right now, but we do have a help article that provides guidance on how you should set up soundtrack, and we recommend you checking that out.
We do get a lot of generic questions, which is like, can I do blank or why does blank? And it's really difficult when those questions are asked us. So heads up in Q&A, if you ask it, sometimes the answer is like, what else is there to know? Everyone's situation is so different and so unique. But generally, it's probably because you don't have it configured, and definitely check out the link that Jeremy mentioned. We have one more question from the community that relates to music before we move on. So do you want to answer that really quick?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Cool. That question is, can I just get permission to stream music from the artist directly? Actually, I think I can answer that one because I get it all the time, so I'm happy to answer it. One of the beautiful things about social media is that you can connect sometimes directly with your favorite artists and musicians. However, it's totally possible for an artist to say that they're giving you a license or that they're okay with you streaming their music, but they actually don't have the authority to make that decision or make that call. And it's likely because another party like the record label or a music publisher actually controls the rights to that content. So rather than take social media or DMs or emails directly at face value, I would highly encourage, and it is up to you as a content creator and a streamer, so make sure that you do your homework and ensure that you have permission from the actual license holder when you are putting that content on your channel. So now that we've covered music and we've answered some questions, again, keep asking your questions in chat by using !ask. But I think we should move on to the next focus of your team, Jeremy, which is managing content on your channel. We all know that the tools currently available to help manage VODs and clips could definitely use some work. They are not fully sufficient. And I am really excited for you to talk about the tools that you guys are building in this area.
Yeah, actually, I did want to let you know about a product update that was released just before we started the town hall. So now those who are assigned the role of editor on your channel can access the clips library so they can help you review and delete clips as needed. But that's not enough. Our current options for deleting clips are fairly extreme. You can either review each clip and delete it individually or delete all the clips at once. Both options are not ideal, particularly if you have hundreds, thousands, or hundreds of thousands of clips to review. It can take a really long time. So to fix this, we're going to build functionality that lets you sort and delete clips by date, game, or view count. We expect to roll this out in the second half of the year. I know that sounds like a long time, and I wish we could get this to you sooner. But in order to build this, we have to make some significant updates to our clips infrastructure, which will take some time to complete. I can assure you we're working urgently on this, and we've added more resources against it. But even with that, it will take time. Longer than I want, longer than you want, for sure.
Yeah. So just to clarify, today, editors can help manage clips. It's already out. It's already there.
Yes.
Great.
I haven't checked with the team specifically, but I hope so.
We were told. I know that streamers have been asking for editors to have similar permissions across both clips and VODs. It was a little disjointed because they had some access, but not all. So really happy to know that that improvement is there and is rolling out today. So there was a hidden gem on that slide that is something we've released today as well to help streamers manage their VOD libraries. We snuck it in there, so let's just talk about it now, Jeremy. What was also on that slide?
Yeah, so talking about VODs, so today creators only have one option for managing their VODs, which is review and delete them all individually. This puts them in a really tough situation because there's obviously potential risk in keeping an unreviewed VOD on your channel, but it also takes time to review the content in each VOD. To help, we're rolling out another update today that lets you select an unpublished VOD, so they're not visible on your channel but not gone forever. We'll work on expanding this functionality so you can select a batch of VODs, unpublish, or delete them if you prefer. We hope to have this in the creator dashboard by the end of Q1.
Yeah, that's awesome. All good updates coming to both clips and VODs for sure. So on the topic of managing your content and content management, let's say that some music or content slips through while I'm live. I obviously want to remove that specific content from my channel, but I don't want to have to delete the entire stream, right? Right now, the option is if it's there, you have to just delete the whole stream. And so the question that we've gotten is Twitch working on a way to cut out specific parts of a VOD so that we don't have to sacrifice the entire stream when we need to remove it from our channel?
Yeah, so this is one area we actually use Audible Magic to help. Audible Magic proactively scans VODs for copyrighted music, and if copyrighted music is detected, it mutes that portion of the VOD, which is obviously less disruptive than removing that section entirely. But you can also use the highlighter tool in the creator dashboard to select and remove segments of your VOD that you want to get rid of.
Yeah, Audible Magic, again, isn't perfect. So if you know that the content is there and you want to highlight the stream and do like a part 1 before the content and a part 2 after, you can definitely cut it up and keep it on your channel. So if you haven't done that, there is a help article to creating highlights and stream markers on help.twitch.tv you can check out if you're interested in learning more. But let's say that I do want to go ahead and just delete the entire stream, or a series of VODs and clips from my dashboard. One question that we've heard multiple times across social media, feedback, email, customer support, everywhere is I deleted content from my dashboard. I went in and I tried to delete it, but it's still showing up on Twitch. Does that put my content and my channel at risk?
Yeah, I'm glad someone asked this question because it gives us a chance to address this misinformation we've been hearing. So if you've deleted the content, you will not get a strike. If you've used Twitch tools to delete your content and it's still viewable and you receive a strike against it, for example, that it's a large job and it needs additional time, or there are other deletion jobs in progress, you will not receive a strike in those cases. It's important to note that this does not apply to content deleted by third-party tools that may exist on Twitch's systems. That's because we don't manage those tools and we cannot verify the accuracy of them.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to clarify and touch on that point. You mentioned Audible Magic just a few minutes ago. Do you have any updates for us in terms of Audible Magic or what might be coming?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we use Audible Magic right now to scan new clips and VODs, and we delete the entire clip or mute the segment of the VOD if copyrighted music is detected. We started using Audible Magic to go back and scan all historical clips that have been made, as well as all VODs that were created before it was introduced in 2014. So this scanning is ongoing, but it will take time for Audible Magic to scan years and years of VODs and clips. We'll keep making progress, but we expect the scanning to be completely done in about 6 months.
We did get a question about muted audio on the topic of Audible Magic, and they wanted to know if a section of their VOD was muted for sound on stream. Is that the same as a DMCA notification? I know some people get the two confused, that if it's muted, does that mean that a takedown notice was filed? Can you clear that up?
Yeah, so there's a difference between seeing a muted audio warning in your video producer dashboard and receiving a DMCA takedown notice. A muted VOD does not mean you received a DMCA strike. It means our vendor Audible Magic detected copyrighted music and muted that segment of the VOD. This is actually, aimed to help prevent DMCA strikes, and it's not an indication that you've received one or even going to receive one. That said, as you mentioned, Erin, no technology is perfect, and it's possible that Audible Magic doesn't pick up all copyrighted audio.
Yeah, we've said it a few times. It's a safety net, but it's definitely not perfect. So you can't rely on that solely. You can't put the content and assume that it's just going to catch 100% of it. So these tools are there to try to help you in case something slips through, not to allow you to put content on your stream that you don't have the rights to and then remove it later. But you mentioned, we talked about the confusion of knowing when you got a strike or knowing when you've just had a VOD that's muted. And I think the last thing that we should talk about with you here today is something that definitely needs some attention and we should do a better job at. And that's our system for managing DMCA notifications and appeals and notifying streamers when they do receive those notifications. So if you aren't familiar right now, Twitch sends DMCA notifications to creators in an email that contains the information like what content was removed, the content that was in violation, and information about who filed the notification. But honestly, email is not a reliable system and it's not creator friendly at all. So can you share with the community today what we're doing to make it more clear for streamers when they receive a DMCA notification and what their options are after it happens?
Yeah, you're right. Email should not be the only channel we use for important notifications like this, because as you mentioned, it's easy to miss an email or it's easy for it to be sent to the spam folder. To fix this, we're going to build functionality that when you receive the takedown notification, you receive the notification on Twitch as well as in an email. We expect to release this in the first half of 2021. But we also want to make it easier to navigate the entire DMCA process. In 2021, we're going to release a series of updates to enable creators to learn when they've received a DMCA notification, review the content that was subject to that notification, monitor the number of strikes they have on their channel, and even file counter notifications if they believe they wrongly received the DMCA notification. And that'll all be done directly from the creator dashboard.
I think that's going to be a pretty huge step, not just for understanding the content, but also making it easier to navigate. I know that there's comfort in just being able to feel informed about the current state of your channel, understanding how many strikes that you have, being able to navigate those notifications and understand the content that received it. So one of the questions we also get specifically about DMCA strikes are strikes for DMCA violations the same as strikes for violating Twitch's terms of service? We haven't really been clear about the difference between the two, and so I was hoping that you could clear that up.
Yeah, great question. So Strikes that are received for DMCA violations are different than those received for terms of service violations, including community guidelines violations, and then they're not added together in any way. So, for example, say if you received an enforcement on your channel for a community guidelines or terms of service violation, this is separate from and not counted against our DMCA repeat infringer policy, which is purely concerned with the number of DMCA notifications you've received. Likewise, if you've run afoul of Twitch's repeat infringer policy, DMCA strikes do not impact your ability to use Twitch products that require your account to be in good standing, like Bounty Board.
Yeah, I know that there were some streamers that weren't aware of those nuances, so I'm glad that we were able to clear that up. We just covered a lot. There were a lot of slides that you went through with like coming soon today. We covered a lot of ground. So I was hoping that you could also do a quick recap of the product roadmap so we can see in one place everything that's happening now and what's going to be coming up in the future.
Yeah, so quick recap. So we released 3 updates this week. We integrated soundtrack from multiple audio technology into OBS 26.1. We gave editors access to manage clips, and we added the functionality to let you unpublish individual VODs. Next quarter, we're going to continue to expand our VOD management functionality that lets you select a batch of VODs to unpublish and delete. And then in Q2, we're going to give users access to Soundtrack's multi-track audio technology in Twitch Studio. And we'll be adding DMCA tooling to the creator dashboard so you can receive notifications, review the content targeted in those notifications, and track strikes without having to leave Twitch. In the second half of the year, we'll enable sorting and deleting clips by date, game, or view count, and we'll also add functionality that lets you unpublish all of your VODs at once and file a counter notification directly from the creator dashboard. And while all this is going on, Audible Magic is going to continue to be scanning historical content and deleting clips or muting VODs where it detects audio on its database. And then finally, I want to remind everyone that we have a creator camp session that Erin mentioned earlier on December 22nd about products to help streamers manage their content.
All awesome stuff, Jeremy. Thank you so much, chat. Again, if you have questions about anything that we just covered or as it relates to DMCA that we might not have covered, make sure that you type them in chat and use !ask so that we can log them, catalog them, and get you all the answers so that we can cover them in our Q&A section at the end. Jeremy, thank you so much. We will see you in that Q&A, so we'll see you here again in a little bit.
Thanks for having me, everyone.
So
So there you have it then, people. A little bit of information there regarding what DJs are dealing with on a daily basis in relation to digital rights of the holders of the music. We run a label at Flex, more than one, and we're on both sides of the coin, obviously. Well worth the knowledge, I think. Hope you enjoyed that.